Okay, with that pomp and circumstance as our guide or perhaps our vehicle into this gilded age of adventure and excitement, it's time to talk about the next season for Broken Compass, the one called Voyages Extraordinaires. Now, unlike our previous one where we looked at pirates, this time we're looking at an age of exploration and adventure, where our opposition might be our creative limits, might be immense and fearsome creatures from nature's nightmares, or it might be that most implacable of enemies, time itself. So, without using more of your precious time, let's take a look inside Voyage Extraordinaire, which is billed as Season 3. Season 1, of course, came with the original Kickstarter, and that was called the Golden Age. Season 2 is Jolly Roger, and Season 3, Voyage Extraordinaire. And we'll be doing one more of these unveilings, unwrappings, or unfurlings, or whatever we want to call them, in this series, where we take a look at the What If season, which is chock full of different rules and ways to play. But this one is focused specifically on that age of invention and exploration. So let's take a look inside. Now we have yet another bookmark. This one is a rich, luxurious green. And of course, the shrink wrap is working its usual magic in protecting the contents, but also making me struggle to work my way through it. And I've been saving these to share with the global community as we got closer to the end of fulfillment, right? So now I've heard that the last group of people, those in North America, are starting to get their delivery notices now that all the bottlenecks brought about by COVID are finally falling out of the way. People are going to be receiving their print copies very soon. Of course, the PDFs, full content of everything that was in the Kickstarter for text-based products anyway, were delivered ages ago. And Two Little Mice have been working very hard, constantly behind the scenes, trying to overcome these bottlenecks and get these products into people's hands. And I have a lot of sympathy for the people who are waiting, because usually, because of my geographic location, living in Korea, I'm usually among the very last or the last people to get any physical product ordered from a Kickstarter or something like this. This time, as luck would have it, I was among the first. So it's a nice treat for me to be able to share and keep people's spirits up, knowing that the products are real, they're out there, they're fantastic, and with just a little patience, they too will be in your hands. For those who missed the Kickstarter, plans are afoot to get more of these incredible books in circulation by various means so that you too can enjoy the physical aspects of having them. But the PDFs are available now. We talked about the rules of Broken Compass before. We have a quick start overview on the channel. We have an actual play series on the channel. And in the previous video about Jolly Roger, we go quickly over the game mechanics. We're not going to do that again. Instead, we're going to go inside Broken Compass now. As we begin our exploration of the interiors, I think the first thing which becomes evident is that the layout exactly reflects the layouts which have come before, although there's a different color palette and the incredible art is all new. What greets you as you go from page to page is familiar. We have the same amount of text, generally speaking. We have the same order of presentation of ideas as we go through an introduction of what is this setting? What can you expect? How should you adjust your expectations of what you might think this period is compared to how Broken Compass is presenting in this period? The ideas about characterization, and then getting into the new rules. Right? So we have the same sort of sidebars, the same sort of example, the same included type of art, and our handwritten journal sections, along with the quick and inspirational instructional sections. So in addition to the specific rules that go along with this setting, there is also an on-demand campaign setup, as we also saw in Jolly Roger, but didn't talk about very much. And there is a specific application of that on-demand season. So I thought in this video, we would talk a little bit about what that means. The on-demand seasons are frameworks for adventure. They don't contain specific locations or specific characters. They instead contain, as I said, the framework for adventure. Something goes missing, somebody cares about it, and these different obstacles will present themselves in line with this particular season of adventure. In comparison, the contextualized season presents that framework in a specific context. Characters are supplied if needed, and names, locations, adversaries, everything that you would need to run a season of adventure is presented, broken down into 6 episodes, or what is envisioned as 6 separate instances of play. It's pretty cool. You get them side by side. They're color coded. The basic framework, the on-demand season, in green, and the specific contextualized version of that season presented in red. So it's very, very easy to look at the bones of the thing and look at the specifics of the thing and learn how to do it yourself or make alterations on the fly. The book has 199 pages of full content, and then a few additional pages at the end for thanks to all the backers. It concludes with the usual admonition to follow the broken compass. It's kind of fun. So the color palette throughout revolves around greens and blues and puts us in the sense of maps and drawing rooms and libraries and jungles and oceans and all that sort of thing. So season 3 is just as evocative, just as packed with information as the previous seasons we have seen. The art particularly catches my eye. It speaks to me on several levels. Okay, let's take a look at the table of contents in particular. Section 1 is, of course, our welcome and our explanation of what this season entails. It talks specifically about Jules Verne and the writings of Jules Verne, so you can quickly get a touchstone as to what the ultimate source of this particular season is. While there are a variety of other science fiction authors from the period or around the period, it is from Verne in particular that this is drawn, and that will help you quickly get ready or ask people to prepare themselves for the feel and type of adventure that we're going for. Verne is brought to the forefront for this, not only because his writings are exciting and full of all of the things that this game is bringing forward, such as exploration and invention, but because he is connected inextricably with the notion of exactly this kind of fiction. Journey to the center of the earth, right? Visiting the moon, and on we go. Around the world in how many days? 80? Do you think you could do it any faster? So with this underpinning made clear, then the specific rules that go into defining this season also become clear. I'm not going to go into everything because this is just an overview, but one of the things that Voyages Extraordinaires does as its guide to this sort of play is to make it clear and to help new fortune masters ready themselves for preparing this kind of adventure, for preparing themselves flat out or preparing for improvisation. So one of the ways that this is done, in addition to things like preparing for the giant and novel machines that we see in the writings of Verne and others, such as the Nautilus, or crazy flying machines, or earth drilling machines, and these sorts of things. Above and beyond that surface level, we go deeper into how to set up this kind of adventure with its own stakes, rather than using the notions of how you might do some other genre of play. So this is all explained in the section of the book called Missions and Wagers. And it brings out the idea of using time as the rival, right? Something has to be done before a certain amount of time has passed, such as around the world in 80 days. We go into very specific detail about expeditions and what it means to be on an expedition. So I find this to be quite helpful. Exciting stuff for making your own seasons, making your own genres and that sort of stuff are the rules about these extraordinary creatures, how they move, how they might behave, how they interact with other objects, large and small, such as the very vulnerable adventurers, or the crazy machines in which they are exploring and adventuring. It's pretty cool stuff. So then other sorts of things are covered, like examples of these types of equipment, this type of vehicle, these types of creatures, right? In a journal style that you could conceivably use as, the basis of making your own handouts. Right? There's lots of cool stuff in here. Okay. The rules themselves for things like invention, what can I share? Right. There are sidebars throughout which provide that provide interesting context, such as what manner of doohickey is this? Right? So this is something I find particularly cool. Unlike our modern age, where a variety of different technology is available, but that all rely on kind of standards of design. Right? In this era, there is no standard of design. Everything is a unique invention. All of these crazy devices or giant vehicles or unusual vehicles that work in different ways, they are, well, they're one-offs. There is no social context. There is no social expectation for how the device would be used. And so the game provides a simple and quick rule for bringing this out. Is it possible for someone to look at one of these crazy, extraordinary inventions and be able to figure out how to use it? Flip side of that coin is, once you are using it, what kind of effect will it have? How big an effect? And how do we bring this out without these inventions dominating a particular interaction, but also definitely feeling like they were present? I think this is handled with a lot of skill, making this just one of many strong selling points for this particular season, whether you're going to use it as is or import it into some other setting or season idea, right? Such as we find in the What If collection, which we'll talk about in the next video. And that's it. This brings us to the end of this video, where we take a quick look at Season 3, Voyages Extraordinaires, for Broken Compass, a time of exploration and adventure, branching out from the previously established seasons of the 1930s or 1990s action movies, or Season 2, which is Jolly Roger, the golden age of piracy. Now we're getting into the golden age of exploration and adventure and invention. What's next? Well, what if? But that's a different video, as we've said. Until then, take care.